And here you can say that it's VLAN, for example, 10. This is going to be VLAN 20. And not to get into a lot of the details, but these VLANs can communicate between themselves. You can communicate from the plant to the VLANs. Of course, if this goes back to the plant switch right at some point in time, but they are still segmenting the traffic that would be exchanged within the context of that machine, as well as within the context of the line. And as I've said, the reason why that is important is because some of these devices are going to be communicating a lot of data to the PLC for control system purposes that is not necessarily needed by anything at the plant level. And if you do want to extract some of that data at the plant level, I made a completely separate video as to what data contextualization is in the different layers, but ultimately it can be filtered either by the PLC or it can have a what's called a data concentrator. So data concentrator, I'm going to call it DC, and this is also going to be on the network, whether on the line side or on the IT side, it doesn't quite matter, but ultimately you will pull the data that it needs per line, per VLAN basis, and then forward that data back onto the plant switch, where you will find some of your SCADA, your MES, or ERP solutions, but it will be in a much more synchronized fashion than if you were to just pull that data directly from your VFDs, servo drives, etc. So I really hope that this paints somewhat of a clearer picture as to what I would expect or how I would segment some of the networks in existing factories. It is a little bit more complex than that, as you can imagine. A lot of these engagements start with an assessment. As I've mentioned, I have a lot of clients that have fairly old protocols, and it's not a simple rip and replace exercise. You need to understand what the current state is. You need to understand some of the goals. You need to understand how to allocate capital efficiently, because a lot of these devices, not only are they expensive, but you also do not have the luxury of incurring downtime as a result of mismanaging this architecture.